India is urging global multilateral agencies. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called Pakistan a rogue state promoting global terrorism. On May 4, 2025, US President Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff on films produced outside. Hello everyone, you're tuned into India Beat with me, Ashwinder R. Singh. It's Monday, 5th May, and I have a lot of updates for you, so let's dive into it. First up, the Reserve Bank of India has established a working group to review and recommend changes to trading and settlement timings in various financial markets. Chaired by Radha Shyam Rathore, the group has suggested extending the trading hours for the call money market until 7 p.m., which would allow banks greater flexibility in managing their balance sheets. In contrast, it recommended that trading hours for government securities and the foreign exchange markets remain unchanged. The group has also proposed that the trading hours for market repo and tri-party repo be synchronized and extended to 4 p.m. It also suggested moving the pre-announced liquidity adjustment facility auction timing earlier to 9:30 a.m. from 10 a.m. The group noted that the extension of call money market hours would benefit banks, particularly given the transaction often remain unsettled by 5 p.m., leaving banks uncertain about their overnight funds. Although the current hours for government securities were deemed sufficient, the group did recommend allowing transactions with non-residents between 5 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. after offshore market hours, with reporting requirements to ensure compliance. No changes were proposed for the trading hours of interest rate derivatives or foreign exchange markets. The group recommends come in light of significant growth in the overnight money market, where the annual turnover surged from 281 trillion to 1,324 trillion over the past decade. Feedback on the report is being invited from stakeholders and public until May 30 via email. India is urging global multilateral agencies, including the IMF, to reevaluate the financial support provided to Pakistan following the Pahalgam terrorist attack that killed 26 tourists. Authorities have linked the attack to 5 identified terrorists, 3 of whom are Pakistani nationals. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called Pakistan a rogue state promoting global terrorism, while Home Minister Amit Shah promised that the attackers would be held accountable. The IMF is scheduled to meet Pakistani officials on May 9th to review a $1.3 billion climate resilience loan and an ongoing $7 billion bailout package. The Asian Development Bank has committed $43 billion to Pakistan, including a recent $320 million loan for rural development. Additionally, the World Bank approved a $20 billion lending package in January 2025 to help Pakistan address its economic challenges. Multilateral agencies are unlikely to cut off funding completely, but India's strong diplomatic stance could result in tougher scrutiny of aid, especially with regards to how funds are used and monitored. Expect heightened consolidations, probably some delays in disbursement, and renewed global discussion around tying aid to counter terrorism obligation. India's message is clear: don't finance terrorism in the name of development. And while institutions like the IMF won't shift overnight, the pressure could reshape the aid narrative going forward. On May 3, 2025, State Bank of India reported a 10% decline in standalone net profits to 18,643 crore for the fourth quarter ending March 2025, down from 20,698 crore a year earlier. Total income increased to 1,43,000 crore, boosted by higher interest income of around 1,19,666 crore. The bank asset quality improved, with gross non-performing assets decreasing to 1.82% of total advances from 2.24%. On a consolidated basis, net profits fell 8% to 19,600 crore, though total income rose to 179,562 crore. For the full financial year 24-25, SBI's standalone profit increased by 16% to 70,901 crore. The board declared a dividend of 15.90 per share and approved raising up to 25,000 crore in equity capital in 25-26 through various means. Now, what this means overall? SBI had a strong year overall but faced a dip in Q4 profits. Income is growing, loan defaults are falling, and the bank is planning to raise fresh capital to fuel future expansion. The dividends show the bank's confidence in its financial health. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the apex body for chartered accountants, is set to collaborate with SEBI to address financial frauds in the market. The institute announced that a working group will be established to engage in discussions with SEBI, determining key areas of focus for tackling these issues. The group aims to submit a research paper to SEBI, emphasizing the need of robust measures to protect investors amidst rising investments in capital markets, particularly for retail investors. During a recent meeting with SEBI Chairman Tuhin Kanta Pandey, Nanda highlighted India's attractiveness as an investment destination, noting the growing interest from the public in markets like systematic investment plans. He has stressed the importance of safeguarding investor interest and suggested that a collaborative approach between ICAI and SEBI could lead to development of effective fraud prevention system. With over 430,000 members and more than 1 million students, ICAI is committed to reinforcing efforts to enforce the public and mitigate the risk of financial misconduct as investor participation in the capital market increases. On May 4, 2025, US President Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff on films produced outside the United States, expressing concern over the declining US movie industry, which he claimed was facing a very fast death due to international incentives. Trump has described the situation as a national security threat and directed the Department of Commerce to implement the tariff. Details about enforcement and which entities would be affected are not provided yet. The announcement follows a nearly 40% decline in film production in Los Angeles over the past decade, as other countries offer generous tax incentives to attract filmmakers. Before we wrap up, here's an unusual comment. Warren Buffett, the 94-year-old chairman of Berkshire Hathaway Inc., recently expressed his preference for stocks over real estate at a company's annual meeting. He explained that stocks offer efficiency, scalability, and simplicity, making them more appealing than the complexity and lengthy negotiations involved in real estate transactions. While acknowledging the real estate can provide value in certain situations, Buffett argued that it complicates the investment process due to issues like personal ownership and demographic shifts. He noted that his later partner, Charlie Munger, despite his interest in real estate, would have chosen stocks if forced to pick just one asset class. Buffett isn't wrong, but he's also not operating in the same sandbox as emerging market investors, HNIs, or middle-class families. Real estate, especially in countries like India, offers tangible inflation protection, a symmetric upside through development or rental arbitrage, pride of ownership, and integrational wealth transfer. Yes, it's illiquid and negotiation heavy, but in many contexts, the complexity creates alpha, especially for those who understand land use, zoning, and urban migration patterns. Also, real estate isn't always about the individual asset. The new wave of REIT, fractional ownership, and PropTech is blurring the line between the two asset classes. You can now own grade A commercial asset like you own stocks, digitally, passively, and scalably. That's all for today's episode. You were listening to India Beat with me, Ashwinder R. Singh. I'll be back next Monday with more updates, key insights, and analysis. Until then, stay safe and stay informed.